Now, granted that Snow White 2024 is receiving tons of backlash, and it's only growing every single day and creating more problems, not just for Disney, but also for a lot of the people that are attached to this film, such as Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, as well as others, such as the actors of the Seven Dwarfs. They are actually being pre-told by Disney on how to answer specific questions related to the controversy and the criticism related to the design changes of the Seven Dwarfs. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we do know that Gal Gadot is dealing with a lot of problems right now. Between herself and the Disney higher-ups, we're going to be getting into it because the drama is just endless surrounding this film. And specifically the reason why is because Disney's board members do know, and they finally realize that this movie is a legacy of Disney. It's where Disney really all began with the first animated film back in 1937's Snow White, and it may very well be the worst Disney movie in 2024. It's quite ironic that it could very well begin with Snow White and end with Snow White on the cinematic level. However, when it all comes down to Gal, who by the way portrays the evil queen in this remake, and we already know that Gal did confirm that she is going to have a different take on the evil queen, well in comparison to the 37 original. Now, on top of this, this is where things get quite complex, is that, with that being said and all, with Snow White and its backlash getting worse and worse, Disney is actually moving forward with not only watering down the transformation scene of the evil queen to be less horrific with a younger audience to prevent scaring kids away, but they are also pursuing the cancellation of multiple scenes featuring Gal that she worked so very hard on that took countless takes to complete that Disney finally decided to go ahead with. This has been creating a big stir between the actress and the Disney higher-ups on how many pieces of her hard work that took so much energy and time is now going to waste in an attempt to re-edit the entire movie and fine-tune the pace and flow of the film. Now, this is all coming after the rise of criticism of the leaked photos showcasing the Seven Dwarfs that are drastically different than the 1937 iteration. Additionally, Disney is also reportedly ready to cut out other scenes of the evil queen confronting Rachel Zegler's Snow White and Jonathan, the new love interest, to reduce Gal's screen time drastically in the movie during the third act to ensure fan engagement levels remain intact toward the ending. Now guys, let me stop here quick before I get to the next big piece of this development, is that I could see why Gal would have a big problem with this, because imagine working on countless scenes, doing countless takes, putting your heart and soul into this, really remembering your lines and getting things done perfectly, only to find out that your best work, reportedly, is going to waste by Disney. Now, we know that the re-edits of this film is Plan A. Plan B is to reshoot some of the upcoming scenes, and we're going to get into that in just a second, because that's all heavily reliant on whether or not the writers' strike and everything happening with SAG comes to a close by this November. If it goes past that, that's when things are going to really be quite troublesome for Disney. That's when they're going to have to decide either A, delaying the movie, upping the chance of reshoots, or B, leaving everything alone as is with the current footage and just embracing that current March of 2024 release. Now, the thing about Gal Gadot is that she has said this before and confirmed what Rachel Zegler said, that this movie is all about Snow White not dealing with the Prince Charming, not in search of true love, but it's all about becoming and rising up to become a leader like her father before her. That's really something that a lot of people have a lot of issues with, is how Disney is really just upping the ante with this whole agenda to really kind of just make her all the more powerful, no vulnerability, no issues, and no struggles or weaknesses. Now, I digress. On top of this, the plan to re-edit the entire film is Disney's Hail Mary, and plan A to fix the film. Plan B, like I said before, is to reshoot scenes if the strikes end. And now this is where Gal comes into the equation. Many portions of those reshoots are set to remake many of Gal's scenes in the second act. Disney personally informed Gal about this development, something that she reportedly does not want to take part in, to put in extra work or her time that is unnecessary from her view, as it actually gets in the way of other projects that she's working on. Additionally, some CGI work is being planned to overlay some of Gal's facial expressions that Disney wants to water down to make the character less intimidating as part of Plan A for the re-edits, as Disney is getting new editors to handle it on that front. With the strikes making things even worse and making the work even harder in this film, it may very well see a delay if things do persist. And look, Gal has every right to have a problem with this, because it gets in the way of her work for Fast and Furious 11 and 12, and what they're working on right now. Now, the problem with this too, is that we know that Disney's not doing the right thing here. Must I be clear? No matter how many re-edits you do, no matter how many alterations you make or adjustments you pursue, it's not going to fix this movie. As long as you got the 7 dwarfs in there the way they are in those leaked photographs, even if they're close to that, it's going to be horrific. And they also did not cast Snow White correctly. I know a lot of fans view the Rachel Zegler argument less of a issue than the 7 dwarfs being the main issue, of course. Because that's really kind of telling, you know, people with dwarfism that you're out of a job. You know, I know that Jason Acuna spoke about this to TMZ, that, yeah, you know, what they did with Hugh Grant also at WB, using him to become a CGI little person, puts people out of work too. And how basically Disney and WB are a part of the problem. And it's really not fair to them, let's be honest, it's very offensive, but moving back to the whole Gal situation, this is problematic. Very problematic. Because this just goes to show you that they don't care about their actresses and the work that they put into these things and everything related to it in that sense. What they really should do, though, I will agree, if they really wanted to say sorry to the general public, delete the entire movie, cancel it, reshoot the whole thing like Jason Acuna suggested, and recast. Recast the 7 dwarfs. And if you can't recast, make them into CGI characters if you really have to go that far. Which they shouldn't even do that. They really should just double down on getting people like Jason Acuna involved. Or, you know, others involved in the 7 dwarfs roles. Why not? You know, it gives them work and everyone's happy at the end of the day. Why not, right? But Disney's not all about being fair. You know, they're really in a very interesting time, to say the least, nowadays, where they just love to lose money, they love to create controversy and criticism, and they don't seem to generally care in the grand scheme of things, right? So anyway, guys, you know, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you all have to say about this entire situation and drama surrounding Gal. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.